Alright guys, I'm back with another video. In this video, I just want to talk about something that I've been to talk about for a while, and I'm currently just writing an article about it for the blog. It'll probably be it'll have different parts, like a part 1, part 2, part 3, so it'll be a series of blog articles. What it's on is what causes chronic degenerative diseases. Like, so many times you're in conversation with people and they're just like, oh, what causes cancer? Like, or, why are people fat? Like, what is obesity? You know what I mean? And the answer is quite simple, and I don't mean to make such a bold statement, but we know now through things like cell biology and quantum mechanics or quantum physics, whatever you want to call it, like, through work like people like Bruce Lipton and many others, like, we now know that the environment shapes our genetic expression, okay? So the environment dictates the genetic expression of the organism, okay? So in this instance, the organism being like the human body. Now, by environment, we're talking about environmental stressors. So environmental stressors basically mean things that can have a massive influence on the biochemistry of our body. So it's on our hormones and things like that, okay? So the biggest environmental stressors on the human body are nutrition, sleep, environmental toxins, like electromagnetic fields, your mental and emotional well-being, spiritual well-being, and exercise, and the movement quality and capacity of your body. So all of these are stressors to the organism, to the human body, okay? What happens is when these stressors become an actual stress to the system, okay, when they actually become a chronic stress to the system, they cause chronic inflammation. And as I said in some of my previous videos, this cause of all chronic degenerative disease is preceded by chronic inflammation, which is preceded by chronic stress. And this stress comes from all these environmental stresses. When I say the word stress, I'm not talking about just a mental, emotional stress that springs to most people's minds. I use stress as a more holistic term to encapsulate all these environmental stressors. So again, nutrition, sleep, environmental toxins, electromagnetic fields, mental and emotional, exercise, movement quality, stuff like this. So when someone has a terrible diet, when someone has terrible circadian rhythm just means your sleep patterns. When someone is surrounded by toxins all day, smoke, if you work in an office and you're surrounded by computers, if you use deodorants, shampoos, all those things with toxic crap in them, you drink water from your tap that has fluoride in it, toothpaste with fluoride. I mean, we're surrounded by toxins. And again, of course, the electromagnetic fields, not even just your phone or your laptop, but just even the electromagnetic fields from all the electricity that just lights up our cities. And then your mental emotional state. And as I said in the previous video too, your mental emotional state is more so a result of these other influences I've already named. So like if you have terrible diet, if you have terrible sleep, if you've got like an infection like a bacterial, fungal, yeast infection, a leaky gut, your mental and emotional health is going to be very impacted by these other environmental stressors. And then other things again like movement quality. If your body has terrible movement quality, that's added stress then to the system. So when all of these stressors are just combining together, they just cause chronic stress to the system, chronic inflammation, and after a period of time, years on end, few decades down the road, you get a disease, okay? But the underlying inflammation had been in your body, in the organism for a long, long time before the actual symptom of disease expressed itself. And another thing we need to feature in here is that everybody has a different capacity to withstand stress. So you'll get somebody who just has very, very good stress reserves. The real like genetic freaks are the people who drink and smoke and they live to like 100, or they have fantastic stress. Their body can just take serious amounts of abuse, environmental stress, before it actually shows a sign of symptoms. The vast majority of the population are actually very ill. It's just they have no symptoms as of yet. They have actually a lot of inflammation. If we were to take like a test to show their inflammation in their system, like a C-reactive protein test, it would probably be fairly high. And also look at things like their LDL cholesterol, which is also, if there's a lot of inflammation in the system and your system's under a lot of stress, your body is going to naturally make more cholesterol to try and heal and repair itself. So that's again why cholesterol is so important. And again, I've done a whole other cholesterol video in another video that's up on my YouTube channel. But again, the cause of all chronic degenerative disease is chronic stress, which causes chronic inflammation, and this chronic stress and chronic inflammation comes from environmental influences. Okay, the environment dictates our genetic expression. So if you have, as I said, poor diet, like looking at your iPhone at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, or being on a laptop, or being in a house that's lit up like a football stadium at night, that's huge stress to your system. Okay, that's completely foreign to our biology. When it's dark, your surroundings should be dark. If you're in a place that's lit up, like as I said, like a football stadium at night, that's massive stress to your system. Okay, and again, environmental toxins, stress. Just when all these stressors combine and they're just prolonged year after year after year, your system just breaks down. Okay. And then eventually you'll get a disease, and the disease is different. It could be heart disease for someone, could be cancer for someone, diabetes for someone. It could be just they put on a lot of weight and start to become morbidly obese. You know, it could be anything, but the underlying cause is chronic stress from the environmental stressors, which causes chronic inflammation, and then you get your disease. Okay, so the cause of all chronic degenerative disease, as I said, comes from environmental stressors, that if they provide a stress to the system, a chronic stress, a negative chronic stress, they're just going to produce inflammation and disease. So that is what causes all chronic degenerative. So you got to make sure you get your nutrition right, your sleep right, your gut right, your environment. So environment, like as in around your house and where you work, so you're not surrounded by environmental toxins. Your mental, emotional, spiritual well-being, and then you got to make sure you exercise just enough but not too much that you overtrain, and then again put too much stress in the system. We do want a certain amount of stress. It's really about getting the optimal amount of stress in our life without getting too much that we become inflamed. So I hope you got some information out of that video. It was just something I've been meaning to make a quick video on, even though it's 7 minutes. And I'm also writing an article series on it to kind of go a little more in depth. But again, just to finish off, I repeat myself over and over because I want to make sure I'm getting the point across. All degenerative disease comes from chronic stress, which causes chronic inflammation. Okay, and all of our stressors are influenced by the environment. Okay, so the environment influences the organism. The organism in this case being the human body. Okay, so get your nutrition right, your sleep right, environmental toxins right, exercise right, mental and emotional well-being right, and you'll be game ball. All right. So I'll talk to you next time, guys, and take care.